Today on App Judgment, we are finally fixing my completely foobarred iPhone screen with a little help from this guy.
Do I have to touch that thing?
Yeah, be really careful though, because you're gonna slash your finger.
This episode of App Judgment is brought to you by the 2012 Ford Fiesta.
This is Annie's long-suffering iPhone. You've been carrying this around like this for what, 2 months?
Yes, and I've been receiving a lot of well-deserved mockery about this phone.
It's a cold audience.
This is Scotch tape that you're seeing on top of it. I had to put the tape around it because, as you can see, I have a screen protector on here that's coming off because it's a cheap little thing. And if I take off the screen protector, it's going to flake off and probably like cut my hand open. So I put some tape on it as a quick fix, and the quick fix has turned into about 4 weeks of using this phone in anticipation of this segment. So I hope you guys appreciate this.
You should actually. I actually decided apparently I needed to be more invested in this segment than I already am, so I dropped my phone this morning. Actually by accident. Oddly enough, I had actually picked up a replacement part last week for a phone I no longer own. So should we talk about the tools first?
Sure.
Okay. So the really interesting thing about our friends at Apple is they don't want you to actually be able to open anything. Right. So they've invented what I will affectionately call the pentalobe screw. Can I say that on the show? Probably not.
Screw.
No, it was the part before pentalobe. But so what's really cool about our friends at iFixit, iFixit.com is the website. They have the iPhone for Liberation Kit. The early iPhones had regular 00 Phillips screws.
Which are these?
Yes, which are miserable but manageable. And then they moved to the pentalobe screws, which is the one on that one. Yeah, so I probably have pentalobe screws on mine, and we can see your phone is leaking water. That's really scaring me. It occurs to me like the one thing we could really use that I don't have is a magnifying glass. But yep, you have pentalobe screws on there. I thought we might start out with something easy. Okay. Because replacing the front screen basically requires stripping the entire phone. Not like field stripping, but like literally taking the entire phone apart. It's going to be a long, painful process.
It's not as simple as just taking the screen off. You have to remove.
You have to get to the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, you kind of have to you have to pretty much go through this part of the phone to get to the screen. So I thought we might, since conveniently I shattered my screen this morning, can I see one of the pentalobe ones? I thought maybe we'd do a really fast one, which is swapping this out. So the pentalobe screws are a nightmare. You'll know when you're in the screw because it'll just kind of, you'll feel the resistance. It's super easy to strip these out if you screw it up, like if you sort of jam it. But you get it in there, and look at that, kids. I'm actually removing the pentalobe screw. Oh, I think we got it this time. Yeah, I hate these screws with the fiery passion of 1,000 suns. Push the rear panel towards the top edge of the iPhone. So this would be the top edge of the iPhone. Ta-da! Panel will move about 2 millimeters, so as I fix it. We're going to lift the rear panel away from the iPhone. Lift the rear panel away from the iPhone and place the panel on the ground. This is very important. Authorized service personnel only. So apparently it's okay to go this far into the phone. This is the replacement back, or what I affectionately think of as the cool guy replacement back. It is clear. You will be able to see my battery. How's that for fancy? We're going to make sure we try to put the back on facing the right way. The camera lens is a nice indicator. There we go. Ooh, it's a snug fit. And now comes a really horrible part that I will try not to curse my way through. That'll give you an idea of what we're in for.
Well, that wasn't too bad, right? We're going to fix this guy next, but first, let's make our sponsor.
Once again, we're sponsored by Ford this week, and we have our 2012 Fiesta back. The 2012 Ford Fiesta features intelligent access with push-button start. The remote keyless entry eliminates the need for keys and starts your Fiesta with the push of a button. We can't say enough about the simplicity of being able to walk up to the car, open the door, and drive away without fishing around in your pocket. Thanks again to Ford for sponsoring us this week.
All right, we got ourselves a spudger, we got ourselves a couple screwdrivers, we got a screw mat, and some pain relievers. We're ready to fix my iPhone. All right, well, I should probably turn this off first, right?
That would be a very good idea.
Goodbye, possibly forever.
Goodbye, cruel world.
Okay, now, so there's glass kind of flaking off on the on this side of this protector.
That's not too bad.
Protector in name only, I might add. All right, your turn.
Maybe my turn.
Yeah, Annie, I thought you were doing this.
I'll do it.
Step 1, rear panel, remove the two 3.6 millimeter pentalobe screws. So your big
Those are
challenge
mine?
now, you have to
Okay.
slide the back off like I did. Do
Without
not
cutting
shred
myself.
your fingertips. Step 2, push the panel up. Step 3, pull the rear panel away. Step 4, time to get the battery. Remove the single 1.5 millimeter Phillips screw. Step 5, get your spudger and pry the battery connector up. Step 6, pull the battery loose.
Look at all that glue. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Step 7, dock connector cable. Remove the two 1.8 millimeter Phillips screws. Step 8, get your spudger, pry the dock cable up. Step 9, peel the dock connector cable off the adhesive. Just tearing apart your several $100 phone.
Oh, it's like almost exactly the color of my fingernails, actually.
Step 10, remove the 1.6 millimeter Phillips screw. Step 11, get your spudger again. It's time to pry the cellular antenna cable up from its socket.
This is exactly like playing Operation, actually.
Step 12, rear camera, lots of screws. Step 13, lift the cable cover. Step 14, time to remove the camera. Get your spudger, pry the rear camera connector up. Be careful not to break any components when you're prying, and remove the rear camera from the iPhone. Step 15, logic board. Remove 5 cables near the top of the logic board. First the headphone jack, then the power button cable, then the front-facing camera cable, digitizer cable, and finally the display data cable. Step 16, use a small flathead screwdriver to remove the 4.8 millimeter standoff near the headphone jack. Step 17, remove the grounding clip. Step 18, get your spudger and disconnect the Wi-Fi antenna from the logic board. Step 19, remove the 1.6 millimeter Phillips screw securing the logic board near the power button. Step 20, more screws. Step 21, lift the logic board from the end closest to the speaker enclosure and slide it away from the top edge of the iPhone. Look at that, we have a logic board, ladies and gentlemen. Step 22, don't lose the small grounding finger for the rear-facing camera. Step 23, time to pry out the vibrator.
I wish you guys could hear what I'm hearing right now. It's like this.
Little tiny ripping noise. Step 24, the display assembly. Remove the 2.4 millimeter Phillips screws from the side of the speaker enclosure. Step 25, remove the small plastic bracket. Step 26, remove the speaker enclosure assembly from the iPhone. Step 27, remove the small piece of black tape covering the display mounting tab. We're lucky. No tape covering the display mounting tabs.
Wow.
How
What
exciting.
a treat.
Step 28, remove the 1.6 millimeter Phillips screw securing the display assembly near the power button. Step 29, remove the Phillips screw near the headphone jack. Step 30, remove the 1.6 millimeter Phillips screw near the lower microphone. Step 31, another Phillips screw near the dock connector cable.
This is the part where like a Labrador retriever just comes running in out of nowhere and just jumps on the table and everything flies everywhere.
Step 32, loosen, not much, the 3 large-headed Phillips screws along the volume button side of the phone. Step 33, 3 more large-headed screws along the other side of the iPhone. Step 34, big payoff, people. You're supposed to use a plastic opening tool, your spudger, to pry up the display assembly, but we used our knife to separate the assembly from the iPhone frame. And you know what? Once you've cleaned up the glass and the sticky mess off the front of the iPhone, it's time to, well, go all the way back through the other 33 steps.
Oh my God! I can actually see through the glass.
Look at that! I wish you could see this,
Right.
folks. She's scrolling through hundreds of tweets right now. She's typing in.
Success.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to point you to the lovely iFixit.com team who did actually, in fact, donate the lovely Verizon iPhone 4 screen we installed today, iFixit.com, the premier center for, well, actually directions for repairing devices, including cell phones, MacBooks, and a whole lot of other stuff. They started with like iPhones, iPods, MacBooks, and they've expanded to a whole lot of other stuff. Good people, good parts, and lots of nice toolkits.
Thank you again to Patrick and the good people over at iFixit. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Google+, and of course at revision3.com. Thanks for watching.